Okay.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the wonderful cricket discussion series. I'm joined by Binary010. Hello and welcome.
Thanks for having me, Ethan.
Anytime, mate. So I'm going to ask you all about the different cricket systems in the world, just a general discussion. So we look at the comparisons of how it's done. So different countries, different cricket boards. There's Australian with the Australian Cricket Board. And of course, they kind of deliberately make their season short a little bit, don't they, for the AFL? India generally play cricket most of the year round, and England, kind of in the structure-wise, they only really play in summer, and they play a few games in autumn and spring with the really challenging weather. So that's the sort of time of the year they play. But how do you think they do it? Who do you reckon does their best job at management? What can we look at for this?
So the first thing you gotta look is how they manage their schedules and and stuff. So let's look at the IPL, the Indian Cricket Board, the BCCI, Board of Cricket Control in India. So they have the IPL in the summers, but they do really have cricket happening all year round. But the thing is, India has a very strong bench, so they can keep rotating players. For example, you saw the series in Sri Lanka where India sent their B team. So sort of stuff like that. So that stuff BCCI does pretty well. They do need to work further on their workload management, but because you've seen guys like Rohit and Virat, they were playing non-stop since the World Test Championship finals till the New Zealand series, non-stop. So of course, first they had the finals, followed by the England series, followed by the IPL, followed by the T20 World Cup. So workload management does become a issue with the BCCI, which is something they have to handle. The next thing about the BCCI that you notice is that the system of cricket, they have a lot of domestic tournaments which helps recognize upcoming talents. You've got the Vijay Hazare, you've got the Ranji Trophy, you've got the Indian Premier League, the IPL, you've got Syed Mushtaq Ali. So you get to you have a platform to recognize the players sort of. But if there's a criticism of the BCCI, it's the way they handle their players, like the workload management first. The second thing, as you're seeing, there are a lot of controversies. You saw the Rohit and Virat controversy that could have been handled way better by the BCCI. You now have this contradictory statement said by Virat and by Ganguly. Ganguly is the head of the BCCI. He said that we asked Virat to continue as captain, but Virat said that they told me to step down as ODI captain. They told me that yeah. So some management there
Yeah,
is lagging, and even before the Australian series last year, you saw there was a communication gap between Rohit Sharma's fitness because he played the finals of the IPL. He scored a 50 in the finals of the IPL, but they didn't let him play the beginning of the Australian series because of injury. And a lot of eyebrows were raised, obviously, because he's a top-notch player. So somewhere there lacks a issue. Now the second board we can look at is the Cricket Australia. So now what they kind of do is they have seasons of cricket. They play most of their cricket in the summers,
yeah,
and you see sort of they don't play too much as a unit together. Even before the T20 World Cup, they hadn't played this team playing the T20 World Cup and the team that won the T20 World Cup. They hadn't played together in a long time. Even though Marcus Stoinis said that the reason they won was the closeness of the group. But if supposing they weren't as close as they were, would they have won the World Cup? Because that statement Marcus Stoinis said they didn't play too much cricket together. Even you seeing the Ashes right now, the last time the test team played together was back right in the beginning of 2021 at the GABA, India versus Australia, that series. So the test team also hasn't, they don't really play together as a unit, but this sort of works for them playing in bits and pieces. But right now, that's because they have a very strong team. Maybe 5 years down the line, if the team is not very strong, then I think that structure might need a bit of reworking. Then you have the England and Wales Cricket Board. So what they sort of do is they have this new rotation policy that they keep rotating players. So that's I think a very good thing. But
I
you
agree.
but
Yeah.
you saw them losing the Indian series because of this. There was a lot of criticism given in the Indian series, which happened in February, because they kept rotating Anderson and Broad, and that kind of weakened the team. They were not playing with the A team. They won the first match, and then they lost the remaining three, which in a test you can't lose three in a row. There were some eyebrows raised then again about the rotation policy. Was playing Stone over Anderson, sort of it kind of led to losing, playing Stone over Anderson. So some eyebrows were also raised. Then also rotating Jack Leach too much. They don't have a very good frontline spinner in tests right now because Jack Leach isn't bowling that well, and Moeen Ali has retired. So somewhere they need to rework that policy. However, what you see them doing with county cricket, pretty good stuff. Then you have the South African Cricket Board. The South African Cricket Board was basically established at a time where racism and the apartheid was prevalent in South Africa. So what the first thing they did was eradicate sort of racial discrimination and that sort of stuff in the cricket, in this way cricket is played in South Africa. And over there, I think we've seen them doing a pretty good job because even you saw the Black Lives Matter movement even happening at the T20 World Cup. So pretty good stuff there. There were a couple of criticisms given to the South African Cricket Board when AB de Villiers retired and them not including Faf du Plessis in the squad after being the second highest run scorer in the IPL. But if you see, South Africa did pretty well in the T20 World Cup, losing just one out of their five matches. Lost because of net run rate, but that's tournament cricket. That's what happens. They just lost their first and then they just won four in a row, beat England, the team which was to beat in that group. So I reckon they did pretty well. South Africa in the T20 World Cup, so the board managed well. Then we have the New Zealand Cricket Board. No, I don't think there's anything wrong with what they are doing. They
Mm.
have their domestic tournaments. Their domestic tournaments are kind of low key. They aren't as big as the Big Bash or the PCL or as the IPL, but it does the trick. They do have some very good scouts and they do have players which are performing well in the international level.
Good points you make
So
there.
that's
Thank you for talking all things cricket. I will say just quickly, New Zealand Cricket Board, yeah, they're not focused on commercialism, I don't think, too much. And the thing that New Zealand and England have as a disadvantage is climate. So the fact that they're able to rotate players and keep players fit and have a very jam-packed schedule is very impressive. Australia waste the opportunity of having mild winters and all that to play cricket. They waste it. Okay, that's just a fact. The Australian Football League is taking over too much cricket-wise. And India, in my opinion, are very, very good at making sure there's cricket all year round, but IPL is very commercial and it can be a little bit dangerous because if there's so many players being taken out because international stars are making way, it becomes a little bit like a Premier League. So it's interesting there. Look, I'm going to have to stop here because we've been recording for a while. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for joining. It was an honor. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.